Hello everyone, and welcome back to my crafting world. This is Anna. Guys, I had this on the back burner for a long time, so I thought, you know what, let me just go ahead and make it. I have made a tall hexagon trinket box, okay? Because not all trinkets are tiny. So I went ahead and made this box, and I've had that idea in my head for such a long time that it's pretty easy to make. At least I think it is. So let me go over the box. On the top, I have lined the top with pearls. Let me put it down and just zoom you in instead of picking it up. So on the top, I put a row of pearls, flat back pearls all the way around. And I did glue some little bling pieces on the top as well. And then I glued a couple of resin flowers on each side of the loop. And then right here, I used that last elaborate oval frame die that I got in my design team package, which is this one. And I only used the two smallest dies. So yeah, I thought it came out pretty good. And for this one, I actually cut it in half and then put one on each side of the loop. And then I put some trim around the top of this loop. And this loop is for you to open, the box. You can certainly use some kind of a knob or, something, but this is the way I did it. So going to the outside of the box, on the top, on the lid, I did line it with this really pretty pearl trim that I've had in my stash for quite a while. And then the paper that I used is the Dulce collection by Prima, designed by Frank Garcia. And I did get that in one of my design team packages. So I used that for the matting on the inside and the outside. And right here, I just made some, little fork bows just so they'd come out, relatively even. And I glued a green pearl just to, bring out some of that green because I had a lot of pink going on. And at the bottom, I used some pink trim that I had in my stash. And then I lined it with some pearls right in the center, and then a bling piece on each side. Now this is the oval, frame that came in that die set. And then this is the middle piece that I used, that also fits right in the center. And I used another little resin rose right in the center of that. And I used two little sparkling flat back pearl or beads right on the inside, just so it would sparkle a little bit more, because you know me and my sparkle. So that is what I did for the outside. Okay, there's the overall look, and I still picked it up, guys. I just noticed because I looked at my camera and I still picked it up. Sorry about that. So this is the overall outside look. Now this is my prototype, so I didn't actually cover the bottom or the inside bottom of this one, but yeah, still. Let me open it up and show you. You take that little loop, you just pull up, and your lid fits perfectly. And I did line the inside, and when I show you, the tutorial, you'll see why I went ahead and lined the inside. But here are the inside panels of the box itself, and it's the rest of the paper from the outside mats. And like I said, I didn't mat the bottom, but I just didn't think about it. But yeah, that is really super easy. And then your lid just fits right inside to close, and it actually holds very well. The lid holds down very well. All right, guys, so let us go on to the tutorial and let me show you how this is made. What I am going to use is 2 sheets, and I think that's all I remember using for my first one. I'm using 2 sheets of the Wild Rose collection, and I am going to use both front and back probably. So that is what I'm going to use as far as the designer paper. And I am going to use some of this really pretty lilac, lavenderish paper for the construction of the box itself. And this is pearlized on both sides, so I really like that, and I think it complements this page very well because it does stand out, but it's not overpowering. So let me get these this cut, and I can give you measurements. Okay guys, this is what we are going to need. Out of your 110-pound cardstock, you're going to cut 1 strip of the paper at 12.5 by 4 1/4, 12.5 by 1 1/2, and then 12.5 by 1 1/2 again. Okay, then you're going to need 4 octagons, this 2 for the lid and 2 for the bottom, and we're going to make a template together, that way you know exactly what size you're going to need. And then I also cut 3 octagons, 2 for the lid and 1 for the bottom, because I'm not going to cover the bottom of the box. Okay, I'm just going to leave it blank because, well, it's the bottom. You know, you can make it sturdier by adding another layer, but I'm going to leave mine as it is. And then for these outside panels right here, I cut 12, 6 for the outside and 6 for the inside. These are cut at 1 7/8 inch wide by 3 5/8 inch tall. Okay, those are your panels that are going to go on the outside. And then the ones for the inside are the same measurement, 1 7/8 by 3 5/8. Okay, and then for these little ones right here for the lid, you're going to want to cut these at 1 7/8 by 7/8 of an inch tall. Okay, and the good thing is that once you start cutting your panels for the outside, everything else is already measured in terms of width, because you're going to have you're going to have some strips left over like this. Okay, if I needed more, all I had to do was cut the tall way. Okay, so they're already cut at your width, and then you just need to cut at the height. Okay, so that's the good thing about these. And then for the inside, which is this right here that I did not cover. Okay, so I'm going to cover the next one with you guys. So those are, again, 1 7/8 inch wide by 1 3/8 inch tall. Okay, and those are all the pieces you're going to need for the one box. So I'm going to move some of this out of the way, and we are going to start with the bottom of our box. So I lied. We're actually going to go ahead and make the template for the bottom and the lid. So let me show you how to get the exact measurements on that one, so you can make. I made mine out of chipboard because we're going to trace this a few times. So it's kind of hard to see. Let me get something that is a little more solid, so you can see the numbers on the back here. Okay, so you are going to take your it's a, I used a 4 by 3.5 inch chipboard. Okay, on your 4-inch side, you're going to place that right next to your ruler. Okay, and you are going to measure at 1 right here. Put a little mark on 1 and put a little mark on 3. Okay, and then you're going to do the same thing for the other side. You're going to line this up, and you're going to put a little mark on 1 and a little mark on 3. Okay, and then on your 3 and a 3.5 inch side, you're going to mark at 1 3/4. 1 3/4. Okay, that is half the width of the 3.5. Okay, so you're going to do the same on the other side. You're going to mark at 1 3/4. So you have 4 little marks. 1, 2, 3. I mean, you know, 4 marks on 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1 on the short side. And then you are going to take your ruler and you are going to connect all those little marks. Here's one, and here's the other. And then you're going to connect all these dots. Just go all the way around and connect your dots, because we are going to cut these here. Okay, so here is our hexagon. I'm going to compare it to the one that I've already made, and yes. Okay, so what I did was I cut on the left side of that line just to make it a tad bit smaller, because we don't need it. This would be the exact size of the box if we did that, but these are mats, so we need it just a little bit smaller. So cut to the left of the line, and don't forget, see how much I'm cutting off? Don't forget to do your straight lines as well, because you need to do these also. And then this one, this one, and there's your template. Okay, so with this template, you are going to cut 4 solid mats. So you are going to cut 4 of these, okay? And you're going to trace these onto your paper, and then you're going to cut again just inside the line. I saved. Okay, so this is what I cut the solid pieces with, and as you can tell, I just went inside the line, maybe 1/8 of an inch, maybe a little bit less, maybe a 1/16 of an inch, because we can always go back and trim it if, you know, it feels a little large or it's more snug than you want it to be. We can always go back and trim some more, okay? And then for my pattern paper mats, I did the same thing. I just cut inside that trace line, okay? And depending on how much edge you want showing, you might want to cut a little bit more than that. But I'm going to wait until I actually, you know, like you can right now, let me see, they're cut exactly. So I may go back and just you know, trim the pattern one again, but right now I'm going to leave it alone. So that becomes your template for your lid tops and bottoms, and then your pattern paper tops and bottoms. So I'm saving my my template because I may want to make another one or something different. We are going to connect these 2 pieces. Okay, I'm going to move my pencil. We are going to connect those 2 pieces. So we just connect those 2 pieces to make 12.5 inches. So I'm just putting double-sided tape at the end of my rainbow. Okay, so there's that. And I need to get my pokey. And I am also going to add some glue, some white adhesive on here, just so it's got a little extra protection or security or whatever you want to call it. Okay, now I'm going to use my grid here. Guys, I clean this little mat, the cutting mat, all the time, and I shouldn't have gotten white. Okay, so we put these together and try to make sure that they are as even as you can get them. Okay, And it might be a little more than 12.5 inches, but we can always remember, cut off instead of leave on or add on. So let me see. Yeah, it's just a tad bit more than 12.5 inches. Okay, so that's that. We are going to get our scoreboard, and we're gonna score this thing. Okay, so we are going to score this, okay? Yeah, it just goes over just a little bit. I mean, I could cut it off, I guess. I'll just leave it alone, cut it by hand. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and score this. We will score this starting at 2. Okay, remember not to score too hard so you don't break your paper. 4, okay, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and 12. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we have 6 sides. Now flip this over on either side. It doesn't matter which side, whether it be that side or this side. I choose this side because it's a little bit easier. Gosh, I hope I was in frame. It's a little bit easier with this connection if I can go down where the paper is glued on the top side. So we are going to glue, we are going to score at 1/2 inch. Okay. All the way down. Okay. If you need a little bit more, you can just flip it over and do half the inch on the other side. That is how we are going to score this one. And this one, we're pretty much done with that for now. So let's move our scoreboard. You know what, guys? Let me go ahead and do the rest of these. That way, since the scoreboard is out, let me go ahead and score the rest of these. So we've already scored the large one. We are going to score this one, and we're going to score the same, like I said. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and 12. Okay, remember guys, these 2 strips are the same, okay? But on one of them, you're going to go ahead and score at 1/2 inch. Okay, that is our second strip. And on our last one, this one we're only going to score at 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, and we're not going to flip it over to score the edge. This one we are going to leave the way we score it. And I'm going to go ahead and cut off that 1/2 inch that we don't need. And I'm going to leave that one alone for now. Okay, so let's set these aside. Let's work on this. We are going to take our scissors. First of all, we need to burnish these. Okay, now we need to cut this. So this becomes a flap. So we're going to cut an angle on each side. And then we're just going to cut right to this, through the center of that score line. Okay? Now we're going to do the same on these. We're just going to cut the center of the score line up to the next score line. Okay? We're going to do that to all of these score lines on the 1/2 inch side. Yeah, I guess. Okay. Now what we're going to do next is we are going to glue this, and you can use tape, you can use at this point you can use tape or wet adhesive. So I'm going to use a little bit of tape and wet adhesive because you know me, guys. I'm just going to put a strip right in the center there. Okay, and then I'm going to use a little bit of wet adhesive. Now, the way I know it's even is I'll flip this over and then fold this to where they are, you know, even. I see that they're even on the top. So before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and add my glue. And you don't want it to ooze out and glue down to your bottom half, so be careful where you place your glue. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to wipe off this glue because I found it easier. Let me wipe off this glue. I found it easier to go ahead and put my panels on while it was flat. So I'm going to put panels on everything except this one, okay? Because that is where this is going to go. So go ahead and take your whatever mats you cut for the inside is what you can glue down. On the inside. It's easier right now, guys. So I'm going to continue to glue these down on the inside and the outside. Okay, all my mats are glued down. This is the outside and this is the inside, except this one, okay? This one is where this connection is going to go. So I flip this one over like this, and then flip this over like this and just glue it down, okay? And that's all I do to glue that one down. I mean, that way you get a, you know, you get a even fit. Just want to make sure that that tab doesn't get glued down to the rest of your back or the inside, okay? So there we go, guys. So now all I need to do is put a mat on the inside of that one. All right, all our mats are down. So much easier. Half our project is, or this half is almost done. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take our, so I'm going to probably trim this up a little bit. Use this here in just a little bit. I'm not going to glue it down just yet because we need to glue the outside down. Okay, so let me glue this down. Okay, so I'm going to flip these under, and it doesn't matter which one goes first, which one goes second, just flip them down. Okay, now I want to make sure that the shape is going to be correct. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slip this down in there. Okay, and it fits, I mean, really well. Okay, so there's my shape. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to hold it down with one hand, and I am going to flip, I'm going to glue these little tabs down right at the corner. So I'm really just tacking them down. Okay, that's all I'm doing is tacking them down, and I'm going to flip this over in just a little bit and hold it down from the inside so that they will tack better. But I want to make sure that I have the correct shape, so I'm going to leave that inside mat. I'm going to leave that in there. Now I don't want to glue this one down just yet, so I am going to see if I need to trim anything down. Oh, maybe I'll trim it down a little bit. Almost nothing. just so it doesn't come out, you know, stick out of the edge. Okay, this is the last one. I'm going to put that down this way. Okay guys, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put glue down on this. Okay, I'm going to take my shape and simply lay it down. Make sure you don't stick out on any of the edges. Okay, now I'm going to flip it over and push down. Now I am going to glue this to the inside. Okay, see how nicely that fits? For this, instead of putting my glue on this, I'm going to put it here because I don't want glue to smear on the edges or anything like that. So I am just going to take my glue bottle and put glue all along the inside. All right, my glue is in there. I'm simply going to drop this down into the box, and there we go. And just press down, burnish, however you want to do it. Okay. We are going to take either strip. It doesn't matter because they're the same size. Either strip, and I'm sorry, it does matter. This one is the one that has the 1-inch tabs at the bottom. This one has no tabs. So we're going to take this one and we're going to start off by burnishing. This 1/2 inch side is our tab. So we're just going to angle cut that right there. Angle cut this and simply snip it off. And then we're going to release all these tabs at the bottom by cutting right in the center of the score mark up to the following score mark. Okay guys, and once again, this is the inside, this is the outside. We're going to put mats on the outside before we glue it together. So let me glue all my tabs down. All right, for this one, all our mats are glued to the outside, and we are simply going to glue this the way we did the other one. We can do that little number right there and just glue it together, okay? Guys, there is our shape. Now we're gonna do the same thing with gluing our little tabs together. So for this one, I am going to go ahead and glue these mats down on inside and out, or the top and the inside, okay? Okay guys, so I have both my mats on my lid. So you see, I don't know, it doesn't matter which one I use. I think I'm gonna use this one for the top. Yeah, or should I use this one? You know what, I'll use this one. So I'm gonna do the same thing as I did for the bottom. Put it there. I'm gonna go ahead and put some glue on there and tack these down. Some glue, glue, glue. And just tack these down, guys. Just so it'll hold its shape. This is the top. This is the inside. I'm setting this one aside for a minute. I'm going to get my ruler. I forgot to tell you that the pieces for my little loop at the top, these are scraps. So let me cut this down just a little bit. I cut it at 4 3/4 inch, and it is 3/4 inch wide. I have scored 3/4 of an inch on either side, and there's my score mark. And I did, you know, go ahead and curve it up a little bit so it, you know, it's a little bit easier to work with. Okay, so this is what we need to do to the top. So we know that this is 3/4 inch. So I'm going to take my top. This is what's going to be glued right here, okay? So I'm gonna go from one side to the other. It is roughly 4 inches. So I need to cut a slit that is 3/4 of an inch wide. So I'm gonna go from here to here. That's 3/4 of an inch, okay? And I am going to take, you can take an X-Acto knife, your finger blade, as long as it's a straight edge cutting thingy. And I'm just going to cut. I'm holding this down really hard so it doesn't actually move on me. So I am just cutting a little slit. And I went a little too far on that one. Just cutting a slit so that these two will fit into that slit like this, okay? So push it down all the way to the crease, to your fold, and then you will open this up and you will glue those two tabs down, okay? You're gonna glue those down to the bottom half of your, and see how I went a little too far. Glue it down to the bottom of your lid. So I'm going to glue that down on the inside of my, now my glue has dried, there we go. And glue that down. And I'll glue the other side. Now, this is what I am going to glue to the top, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and, just like the other one, I'm going to put glue around the top. Now we can go ahead, insert that, and we can glue it down. You know what, I'm gonna put some glue on these tabs right here. Make sure those are secure. There we go, guys. Okay, guys, last strip to work on. So we are going to go ahead and do our fold lines. Now I'm not going to burnish them with the bone folder because some of them, a couple of the last ones are going to change. Now what we need to do is we need to mark this end, okay? I am going to just put a mark on this one and a mark on this one, because we're gonna fit this to make sure all of our creases, all our folds are going to match. So I'm gonna take this out several times, so I want to mark it and know where I'm starting, okay? So I'm gonna curl this up, and my mark is right there and my other mark is right there. So that is where I will always start, okay? So there is my first one, and it seems to fit just fine, okay? Here's my second one, it fits fine. My third one looks like it's off just a little bit. So what I'm gonna do is I am going to take this out, knowing that this has to come over just a smidge. I'm going to take it out. I'm going to refold that line so that it does come over just a smidge. Okay, and now I'm going to use the bone folder so that that creases right where it needs to be. Okay, now remember my mark. So my mark is right there. I'm going to put those two together again, and I'm going to fit it again. Okay, so this looks good, this looks good, this now looks good, okay, and this one also has to come over a little bit, and your last one's gonna have to come over a little bit. So the last three are the ones that you have to work on. So this one has to come over just a smidge. So that's where we do that. And I'm going to once again line these up, check it again. So that looks good, this looks good, this looks good, this now looks good, and this one has to come over quite a bit though. So I'm going to use the scoreboard for this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pencil, I'm going to mark it right about here. Okay, just a light pencil mark. Take my scoreboard and I am going to score right on that mark. I'm going to flatten this one just a little bit, just so it's not as noticeable, but your mats are going to take care of that. So here we go. I am going to score right here. All right, once again, line up my pencil marks. Sorry about that, guys. I had somebody come in and talk to me. But anyway, so here are all the sides that are fitting nicely on here after the adjustment we did on the last three. Oh, next thing I'm going to do, so I know it fits that way. So the next thing I'm going to do is I am going to go ahead and put my mats on the inside of the lid wall. And this one's the one where I didn't do these on the original box. So I'm going to glue all these down except the last one, because that's where the tab is gonna go. Okay, that's where my tab is gonna go. So I'm gonna skip this very first one. So I have glued all my mats down. And again, looking for my pencil line. I am going to put glue on the inside rim all the way around, looking for my pencil mark. I'm going to go ahead and roll this up, and I'm going to put that one in first. right there. And I'm going to continue to go all the way around, making sure that it's pressed down to the bottom, or the top of the lid, the inside top. And this is where my tab is going to go. So I'm going to put, actually I think it'll be easier if I put glue on this side and then press that in. And it has to come to your edge, guys. If you want this to fit your box, it's got to come to the edge. Okay, now I'm going to press down just to make sure that, you know, all the edge is up against the top of the box. All right, guys, everything is glued down. Our loop is in. Now, let's hope that I measured everything correctly and it is going to fit. I know the first time I put it in, it was a little tight, but then it settles in and it's easier to open and close. And there we go, guys. Our box is complete. The more you open and close it, like this one, for some reason the easier it gets, because the first time I put this lid on, it was a little tight, but it you know, I guess it settles in, and you know, and it just settles in. There we go, guys. That is our box finished. All we need to do is decorate and we're done. There you go, guys. Fast, easy. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments what you think, and let me know if you're gonna make one. This is so much fun. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching, and we will talk to everyone later. Y'all have a nice, beautiful day.